Now, after making all of this Hey garden maters, welcome to Corner Homestead. So today is one of those lazy type of days for me. I just don't feel like doing a whole lot. So today I thought would be a perfect day to do what is called the poor man's meal. It is basically just fried potatoes and hot dogs and onions, but I add a little bit of extra things to it. It is very simple to make, and if you're on a tight budget with food like I am, you want to make every dollar count and everything stretch as far as you can. This is definitely one meal that doesn't cost a whole lot to make. That is why it is called the poor man's meal. Let me show you exactly how I make it, because I add some different things to it that still keeps you within a budget. So the first thing that we need for our dish is our potatoes. I went ahead, cut up a bunch of potatoes, just quartered them, cut them into big bite-sized pieces. Okay, so now I'm just working on slicing my onions. I started out by doing them in like quarters and doing little pieces, but I'm just going to go ahead and slice them in half and do the half moon slices. But it's totally up to you on how you want to slice your onions. It's all about preference. Okay, so in the refrigerator I had this little piece of cabbage left. It's not very much. And I'm going to go ahead and shred it and add that to it as well. Now, of course, the original poor man's meal does not call for cabbage. But like I said, since I've had this in the refrigerator, just want to go ahead and use it up before it gets bad. And it'll be perfectly fine in this. It is whatever you can put into it, whatever you can afford. So for this job, I brought up my huge, and this thing is big, my cast iron skillet. So I'm going to put in some olive oil. And then, to add flavor to this, I'm just going to put in a couple spoons of bacon grease. Totally optional. I'm going to go ahead and drain the potatoes, get the water out of them. Going to let them fry now for just a little bit before I add the onions. So while these are frying, I have 6 of the Johnsonville cheddar cheese sausage dogs, I believe they are. I'll put a picture on here of what they are. I'm going to go ahead and slice these because we're going to add these to it as well. If you don't have these, you just use regular old hot dogs of your choosing. So this has been cooking for just a little bit, not long, maybe 10 minutes, just enough to start browning. I'm going to go ahead and add my cabbage into it. I'm going to put my cabbage in, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my onions. I'm going to go ahead and season it a little bit with some salt and pepper. Okay, so now I've had this cooking for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the hot dog. In this case, the cheddar, Johnsonville cheddar dogs. Smells really good. So we're going to let this cook longer until it gets a little more brown. Stir it occasionally. About another 25 minutes, somewhere in there. Okay, so I just gave one potato a little bit of taste. Definitely needs more salt, but it's complete seasoning time. I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of this into it, just because it's really going to bring the flavor out, I think. It's not going to be much, literally that much, and that is it, which is maybe about a tablespoon of the complete seasoning. And this still has at least 15 more minutes to fry. Okay, so it's been another 15 minutes, and this is definitely done. So, messy, but that's how it should look. It's Poorman's meal after all. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, after making all of this big pan of this stuff, Tony decides he did not want to eat. So it's going to take me a long time to eat all of that. It's going to be leftovers for days and days and days. But that's okay. So I can tell you right off the bat that I put a little bit too much olive oil in it, which ended up making it quite oily. Not that it makes much difference to me, but if you end up putting too much oil into it like I did, you can always drain it when it's done, or lay the meal out on paper towel, let it absorb some up. Put the paper towel into the pan and just absorb some of the oil, which is probably what I will do. But for the taste, nope, I don't care if it's oily. Not at all. It is so good. Because I put the cabbage into it, it gives it just that little bit of crunch. But everything is definitely cooked to perfection. Really good. So when you go to fry this, you're going to do it on how you like it. If you like the potatoes more brown, just fry it off for a longer period of time. But basically, that is all it is to making the poor man's meal. So simple and easy and really good. So that's why I use olive oil when I go to fry this up, because if you goof up and put too much oil in it, like I kind of did today, the bacon grease was enough, just enough for that big pan. And it just gives it a slight bacony taste. But the olive oil, I definitely put too much of the olive oil in there, but because it's a good oil, not as bad for you as some of the other oils, so I still have no problem with it. I will give it a dab with the paper towels before I put the rest of it away for the leftovers. So the next time you're not quite sure what you want to have for dinner, I highly suggest making a poor man's meal. You can't go wrong. Make it to your liking. You just can't go wrong. Thanks for being with me as always. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Love to have you as part of the community. Love to watch the Garden Majors grow. Until next time, I love you all. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video.